try to make it something that she would do, something special. But let me invite you up to make a few remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you to the working group for all your hard work this week. It's been really fantastic. So I arrived in Nigeria on Monday. This is my 55th country in the world that I am visiting. And I've been made to feel incredibly welcome here. I travel, obviously pre-COVID, did more traveling, but I travel around the world and I meet with women in the finance industry. And one of the things that I've reflected on, even before I arrived in Nigeria, were how many senior women there are in investment roles, how many senior women there are in CEO roles, CEOs of banks, chairs of boards here. And when I look at the percentages, and I know there's been some really deliberate effort here, those percentages are far higher than the UK or the US. So you should be really proud. And as we bring what we believe we can bring as 100 women to Nigeria, I think you have something to give back to us, and that is understanding how you got there. What are the steps that you, as a country, have taken within this sector to get to those levels? But I think along the way, we can do something for each other. You know, you talked about visibility, and for me, visibility is a critical thing for women to understand. I know we all just think we can work hard and perform and someone will notice you. But that's not the way the business world works, because at the end of the day, we're human beings, right? And so connecting with other human beings is a really critical part of building your own brand and your own businesses. And so one of the things that I want to be able to do is to put on the stage Nigerian women who are in those senior roles. I love the fact we have pension fund representatives here today. We need you in the room. You can have a massive impact on how women get represented in this industry. We have a visibility initiative globally called Fund Women Visibility, and on our website we have the faces of 500 female fund managers, and behind that a directory of women who are willing to speak to our organisation, willing to speak at conferences, willing to speak to the media. And all of this is important because investors need to know that there are female managers out there. I still hear institutional investors saying, can't find the women. Well, guess what? 100 Women is in the business of finding you the women, because they are there. They may not be in the numbers that we want, but they are there. And they need to be seen and acknowledged, because women are performing, and in many cases, outperforming their male colleagues. And they bring a different perspective to that investment role. So we are in 28 locations around the world currently. Our mission is to empower women in the industry, but also to inspire the next generation of pre-career women. This is a new thing for us. Over the last 2 years, we've developed a pre-career program, set of programs, both internally, but also in giving grants to organisations in various locations that are giving girls, high school girls, the skills they need, the confidence that they need to come into our industry. One of the things that I'm most proud of from last year was that we piloted a program called Jumpstart. This is a pre-internship program for female university students in their first and second year. And the goal of this is to introduce these women to the industry in very practical ways. So there's 3 modules to it. And this was, by the way, this is global and virtual. So after this is all done, I hope you'll all get the message out to any female students that you know at universities to join us in this program. So the first part is, what is the industry? What's private equity? What are hedge funds? What do banks do? What's fintech? How does it all work together? Second part is, what are the roles that you can play and you have in the industry? And again, going back to humanising, we need all of you. All of you are role models for the next generation of young women, because young women need to be able to see that it's possible to be in these roles. They need to know what the roles are. They need to know, why do you love what you do? What difference can you make in the world through And then they need to know the pathway to get there. And my personal story is that I grew up in Birmingham. I was the first in my family to go to university. I went to Oxford, and I went to Oxford because of a woman who I actually never met, but who was visible, and that was Margaret Thatcher. I knew that Margaret Thatcher, like me, was the first to go to university in her family. She went to a local school. She did not go to a fancy girls' school. As was a young teenage girl, I said to myself, if she can do it, I can do it. I believe that responsibility is within each of us who have had success in life, is to be able to pay it forward and to enable the next generation of young women to know it is possible. So that's the second part, is so we've got knowing what the industry is, what are the roles in the industry, and then the third part is how do you get an internship in this industry? How do you prepare for it? And a number of our corporates around the world, corporate supporters, have underwritten student memberships of 100 women. So those female students at university can watch 300 hours of programming around all sorts of topics that we've put on around the world over the last couple of years. They can prepare for those interviews. They can understand the terminology of the industry and what the themes are. So that's one of the things that we're doing in terms of pre-career, and we want to bring that to Nigeria. Frankly, these programs are not limited to the locations in which we are. That's one of the silver linings of COVID, is it really doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can tap into the resources that we have. Really looking forward to the next steps in Nigeria. We've had a fantastic week, met a lot of different women. Please do look at becoming a member. You can become a member today, even though there isn't an official Nigeria location yet, because you can tap into as you travel. We have locations that you can visit, and you can certainly access all of the programming. And frankly, you can start connecting with each other locally. We had a wonderful lunch yesterday where we brought together senior women, many of whom didn't know each other, may have known of. And I find this around the world, that as women, we're not very good at investing in ourselves and meeting those people that are actually going to help us both personally and professionally. I became part of 100 Women 20 years ago. I was a volunteer. At the time, I was in a hedge fund. I was the only woman in the hedge fund. And for me, it was great to be able to find my people. And many of those people are my best friends today. And we've gone through our career over the last 20 years together. We all need somebody else from time to time. When things are tough, when we're ready to give up, when we don't have a solution in our own head, it's always great to be able to share and receive advice and support from other like-minded women. I also want to have a shout out. We need men. We need men as part of this conversation. So very brave, and I do think it is. When we do our education events in person, men can become members of the organisation. We encourage them to. It's quite interesting seeing men walk into a room and it's mostly women, and they're kind of like, oh, this is what it feels like. But in all seriousness, we need men as champions. We need men to be giving visibility to their team members. So you really are a critical part as we move forward. This isn't about men versus women. This is about creating an industry that is more diverse in terms of thinking, in terms of experience, in terms of background. So while we have women in our name, and obviously there's a lot of work we still need to do on the gender front, it really is about creating a better industry, a better world for everybody. So with that, I will take back in. Thank you so much.